Right.
Ready?
Oh, I'm ready, Hen.
Ready? Go.
Ready when you are. Oh, that didn't work. Why did that not?
There we go.
That's a really annoying clock.
That's, yeah, but anyway, it's fine. We'll just, it's clock. It's clock. It's like all other clocks marching steadily towards death. That's just doing that by bit.
Oh,
Anyway.
Well, there we are.
My dear.
It's just about, I think it took me about 10 minutes to start seeing this when I did that. Right, here we go.
Look glamorous. Right. So, I mean, come on, just look glamorous.
I just know that you're laughing because we're both wearing not really nice trousers. I changed my top for this, thank you very much.
Well, this is, I found a top that could fit, which is the main thing.
At least it's not that blue shirt you've been wearing all the time.
I'm enjoying that blue shirt.
I know.
Oh, it's just bringing a bit of colour to my face.
Welcome to Matters of the Heart and Other Failures, the new podcast that is part comedy, part therapy, and all round life's fuck ups. I'm Nathan Sparling.
I'm Scott Agnew. We are friends of old, shall we say? How many years are we?
Oh.
No. Coming on for 15.
Well, you tell the story that I wrote to you when I was 16, and I still don't remember that.
Well, because I remember recommending you to Jojo Sutherland, because I thought that'd be a bit weird, me corresponding with a boy at 16.
But I don't think I was 16 at that point, I think, because I
older?
remember I did Jojo Sutherland's comedy course at Cody's in Dunfermline.
And I'm just loving the idea that I thought it was a safe idea to recommend any young person to Jojo Sutherland, which, if you know Jojo Sutherland, a very fine stand-up comic.
I'm sure we'll get her on the podcast to talk at some point.
Yes. So that I remember getting an email from you, and you were inviting me, I think, to do. You were doing drag at Planet or something like that, CC Blooms.
I was 18 at that point.
Right, you were 18 at that point, right? And which would have made me 28 at that point. 10 years between us, not that you can tell. but
that's still what I mean. That's
I don't know.
A while. I can't do
that.
that.
I'm not 28 now. I'm 44. If anybody's listening that can do that math.
16 years.
Is that 16 years?
16 years. I can do your maths because that was even numbers.
Sure enough.
Put me on odd numbers and I start getting confused.
Right. 16 years. That's a long time.
16 years is a long time.
We shared a flat together.
We did.
The year of 2014.
Mm-hmm.
There
was definitely ups and downs that year.
There was definitely ups and downs. I have been known to describe that as like 9 months in a Japanese endurance game show, which is just. But you'll hear more about that particular time period later on. We're just kind of. I suppose we should really explain what the podcast's about. What the impetus was for the podcast.
Yeah.
Well, the impetus was actually. We spoke about this 4 years ago.
Very quickly after you had a heart attack.
I had a heart attack with 3 cardiac arrests. Spoiler alert, I survived. And we were talking about, we were going to do a podcast, and the original, my thing was, I was wanting folk that had near-death experiences, because I was quite taking the idea that technically I'm a zombie. Do you know what I mean?
Because you had died 3
I'm a
times.
zombie. I'm died 3 times, so I'm a zombie. I'm technically better than Jesus, because he only came back the once. It took him 3 days. I came back 3 times in one night. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I was quite that's where I was kind of wanting to go. We never got very far with it.
Because at the time, you said about that idea, because it was Dead Man Talking. That was the sort of the title, which later became the title of your Channel 4, BBC Radio 4.
My BBC Radio 4 3-part series, which is still available on BBC Sounds just now.
We'll put it in the link below, so that people can listen.
We'll put it in every link forever, so that somebody listens to it eventually. So we spoke about that, and then we never got around to it. And then you very cleverly, in the past 2 months.
Oh,
2 months ago?
No, 3 months
We're
now.
already at 3 months.
Yeah, it was 12 weeks.
12 weeks. You decided to get yourself diagnosed with heart failure
Aye.
and taken up to the hospital. So we've got that. That's the kind of impetus, and we are typical. Well, we're not typical Scottish men. We would like to say we're not typical Scottish men,
Aye,
but we have behaved very much like typical Scottish men that ignored their health, thought they could do what they liked, and it's came and bit us right in the arse.
And I'm sure over the next 3 or 4 years, or however long you're listening to this podcast for, we'll get into all of those at some point.
All of those. Yeah.
The plan is for us to be spending some time talking to each other about these things, inviting some guests on to talk about their issues with health, heart health issues, mental health, emotional trauma, or just general life failures. There's really no failure too big or small that we are not going to want to uncover at some point, because we've got plenty of them to get through.
We've got enough to get through. I think between us, between the two of us, we have covered nearly every gamut in life. There'll only be an ailment, a condition, an incident, an allegation that we've not faced. So we will kind of try and navigate your way. And the thing is, regardless of what you say, all of these things do have some kind of impact on your heart. So technically, it's all related to the heart somehow or other.
I suppose it is.
It is more or less, because
Stress.
Stress. I would not have had a heart attack at 40 had my undiagnosed something a bit like bipolar, cyclothymia, had been diagnosed earlier and been looked after and managed. So when it came calling at 23, between 23 and 25. So technically, I wouldn't have had a heart attack at 40 and 3 cardiac arrests. So I think it's all linked somehow or other. And I say that with absolutely zero medical expertise whatsoever. We should point that out.
I was just about to say, whilst we were talking about, medical names and stuff, that we obviously are not here providing any medical advice.
No, we're not. No.
I think we're the last two people that anyone should really listen to. We will have people on the podcast that will be able to give some generalised medical advice, but we are just here to talk about our own our expertise in our own lives.
We're only expert in our own misery and tragedy. If you are daft enough to take sort of medical advice from, 29 stone, chain smoking, heart attack person in recovery, then he'll slap it into you. Do you know what I mean? Whatever happens to you, it's your own fault. So don't come suing us. But don't be taking advice. What we're going to do is muddle through what your rehab, because essentially I might have come, because I am technically 6-7 stone heavier than what I was when I had the original heart attack. So I had a couple of hiccups with my rehab and recovery, and fortunately Nathan has been a very good boy, because he's still like 3 months in, and he's still doing everything right. So I'm kind of I'm sort of piggybacking his
so far
successful rehab, so that I can maybe get myself back on track a wee bit.
Because you did quite well at the start as well.
I did. I was great. I was off cigarettes for about 6 months, and I was walking, like every day of the week, and all the rest of it. And I was part of a rehab recovery group, which was all going great. So it was going well for a while, and then life happens. Do you know the honeymoon period of you being, and people actually giving a shit about you and looking after you, that stops at some point, and you have to get back to real life, which was, for me, I'm a stand-up comic. I'm trying to get back to doing gigs, trying to get back to sort of doing writing and things like that. And, that was the stress of that suddenly. You were away out buying a packet of cigarettes, you were then having a wee pint, and then you were having a wee pint, to the wee small hours in the morning, you were falling back into, I was going to say all the old bad habits, but well,
Not all of them.
not all of them, but you'll find out about my bad habits as we go on. But so that's so what we're hoping to dispel here, because a lot of the things you see when this is somebody just recently had a heart attack, and you open this glossy magazine and there's some
Was
kind of
yours glossy?
Well,
my heart failure magazine was printed off on the laserjet.
I had the Rolls Royce, I had the cardiac arrest, right? We get the proper
You get the proper
frequent
shiny
flyers,
glossy paper.
shiny glossy paper. But no, you see, you get these magazines, and it's always some kind of ripped tanned Adonis, head to toe in lycra, climbing hills and like that. Yes, I'm in the road to recovery. My heart. Well, sorry, that's not the reality for most folk. It's this potato-shaped fucking failure, do you know?
Not quite a failure.
Not quite a failure, but it's not.
I'm a failure.
No,
My heart's a failure.
Your heart's a failure. So, but so
it's odd, the words, isn't it? You had a heart attack, and I've got heart failure. People think mine is worse, but it's actually not.
I mean,
in some ways,
I mean, I don't know who keeps a kind of league table of these things. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think they're equally scary.
Aye.
I mean, if I'm going to be honest, if I had to choose a way to go, like, that was the one. Do you know? It was. I would pick that every time. There's a mad part of me actually feels as if I've been robbed of the perfect death. I'm raging they brought me back. Right? No, not entirely. But when you see the other options, I go bastards. Anyway, but that's a slight joke to my very kind paramedics that brought me back 3 times. But we'll get into them as well later on another time. But so I don't know. Heart failure. I mean, because what happened to you
was bizarre.
Right, so you might as well.
Well, I'll go back to the day.
So let's picture the scene. You know, picture the scene.
So it was weird because so on my birthday, I was in London having a very nice time.
A very nice time.
And it was a very nice time knowing now what I know. I was very drunk for 5 days on the trot. And on my birthday, I was cycling from the Royal Vauxhall Tavern to my friend Tom's house, Vanity Von Glow. Another drag queen.
Another drag queen. I could just see you. I want to ride my bicycle.
Well,
I want to ride my
I'd just
mom.
been to see Evita. So I was singing Don't Cry For Me, Argentina.
Of course you were.
All the way up to Clapham Road. Because even though we started off in Vauxhall, we were going to like Kentish Town way, which is quite a cycle, but if you've never been in London, cycling is the quickest way to get around, especially on these line bikes, which go at 25 kilometres per hour.
Is that the ones that got a wee engine on them?
A nice wee pedal assist bike.
Oh, right.
Like
pedal assist, right.
Well, it's not like these ones that the Uber Eats drivers are going about on that are like a motorbike.
It's essentially Evel Knievel, just delivering your food to you.
So we're heading up the Clapham Road. I don't really remember. I mean, legally, I probably shouldn't have been on a bike, right? I'm going to just say that. And I remember it as a graceful fall off the bike, like very slowly and gracefully falling off the bike onto the curb. And
sorry, you're the same size as me. Right, well, not weight-wise at the minute, but the same height as me.
Yeah.
You and I have both been 6'5" for most of our adult life. Can you name a time for me at any juncture you've done anything gracefully?
No. But anyway. In my mind, it felt graceful. And it was sort of like the bike sort of went into some rubbish bags, and I ended up on the pavement. And there's a picture of me going around social media of me on my back, looking like a beached whale. It took me a while to get up. Got up, back on the bike, and off we go. Back. So I was fine to get back on the bike. Fast forward a week, and I am in a lot of pain. It felt like someone was punching me in the stomach, and I had a massive bruise And I phoned my GP, and they said you might have ruptured your spleen.
Oh, that would mean.
Go to A&E.
Right.
Because it'd been a week, if it had been, essentially everyone said, why didn't you go to the hospital there and then? Well, one, I was too fucked to do anything, like go to a hospital.
If we have any international viewers that might not understand the medical Scottish term fucked.
Do you want to explain it?
I'm sure they'll manage.
We'll get there at some point. So, but also initially I didn't feel like it was that bad, and it was just I had a grazed elbow and a grazed knee and a bruise on my side. Obviously where I hit the curb on my side. So I go to A&E and I wait. I go to A&E and I wait for like 5 hours, and I get called in. And thankfully the A&E doctor was a dream. And when you get to the end of the story and look back, you're like, actually, she really was a dream, because I got the full sort of physical exam. I was in getting an X-ray and a CT within an hour of being seen.
See, this is it. People keep on bashing. I have to be honest. And I'm not connected in any way to anybody. I'm just you don't follow the wrestling, but I'm just the son of a plumber and a nursery nurse. Whenever I've been at the NHS for anything, I've generally not really had any particularly terrible long wait. Care's always been brilliant. They've all been spot on, and there you go.
And that so I got the X-ray, and I got the X-ray first, and the results came back, and the doctor came to see me to explain the results. There was no broken ribs, which is one of the things that they were checking for, because obviously I went in for my bike fall.
Yes.
But there was a considerable crazy paving of the lungs, which in medical terms means you're fucked.
I like how they use like 70s gardening terms. Do you know what I mean? Oh, look at your crazy paving lungs. Oh, what about your monkey plant? Spinal cord? I don't know. Is it?
So the crazy paving in my lungs was fluid.
Right.
And one of the causes of fluid in your lungs is issues to do with your heart. Now, at the time in hospital, I was running quite a high blood pressure. And it's been something that I've kind of known I've had for a while and been managed with some medication, but never necessarily dealt with properly. And the doctor said, we think there's a problem with your heart. We're going to do some more tests. And right at that moment, I felt ill. And that was the first point that I felt ill. I didn't feel, I walked into the hospital, I didn't, other than my side where I felt sometimes like I was being punched, I didn't feel ill in the slightest. And at that point, I felt ill. I started sweating. I was breathless. And I was lying on the hospital bed, and the one of the nurses came to see me, and she went and got the doctor and the doctor was then worried that she'd caused my panic attack, essentially.
just by delivering the news of your health, I've made them worse.
So at that point, my oxygen levels were dropping. So I was put on oxygen there and then, because I think it was under 80% saturation, because what later transpired, the amount of fluid in my lungs was stopping me from breathing. So I go to get the CT scan, and the CT scan's nice and quick, and waiting around, starting to feel a bit better because the sort of initial panic's gone, and then they come back and deliver the results that I'll be staying in hospital because it looked like there was signs of a heart issue. Never really knew at this point what it was. I was in a hospital bed, being told I had a heart issue. I was staying in. I booked myself an overnight stay in the hospital, as the doctor said, and I was taken up to the coronary care unit, which
that's that's when you start seeing things like that. You start, oh, they're quite serious words.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean? I don't like the words.
Aye.
don't like the words in that word.
So the other thing is like, so I get taken up, and it's about 3:30 in the morning at this point. I'd gone to the hospital at 6 p.m. So I'd been there a considerable time already, but things had been happening at least. I get wheeled into the coronary care unit, which later transpires to be literally where all of the serious heart health issues go. And that's when you start to take it seriously about what was going on inside, but I didn't feel like it was going on inside me.
I know, and you don't. I mean, I didn't feel this the first time. Second time, I'll explain this to you later. But you got that. I'm not really that ill, and then you look at people around about you, and you go, "Well, I have to be as ill as what these buggers are." Do you know what I mean? Because
and so I get wheeled, and a nurse that was on the ward looked at me and said, "Why the fuck are you here?" And I was like a bit dazed at this point. Like, obviously, I'd had that sort of panic attack, and I was tired, and I didn't quite know who it was. And I was just my initial response was, "Well, because I'm meant to be, apparently." It later transpires this was someone that I know quite well. We're going to get her on as a guest,
right?
To talk about more of the medical stuff. But it did take me a while to come round to who it was.
And I think that's the thing. I mean, when I had a heart attack, I was 40. When that happened, you just turned 35.
Yeah.
And you just don't. You just don't think these things.
Well, I brought the average age of that ward down by about 20 years. Like, just by me going in there.
Just you going in there.
There was only one other person that came in for a brief 6-hour stay that was anywhere near my age.
Aye.
Everyone else was like over 60 at least. I mean, and that's probably me being very generous to the ages of the people on the ward. I was taken to my own room to start with.
See, listen, you can't. You're not going to win showing off, right?
Well, because obviously not.
No,
because it only lasted an hour and a half. And I get wheeled out, and this is when I realised how serious this ward was.
Right.
Because I got wheeled out of my room to be replaced by somebody that had died on the ward. And that's why they needed that space, because they couldn't get in touch with the person's family.
Oh, no.
So they didn't know how long the person was going to be on the ward himself, having died overnight. And that's me. This is now 6 a.m. So I've been in the hospital for 12 hours, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm
on a ward that folk are just dropping off in.
Aye. It's not until the morning rounds of the doctor, the consultants coming round, that I'm later told that I have severe heart failure.
Aye.
I was given that morning. I was given a quick ultrasound next to the bed, which was not in any way as sexy as yours, which I was very disappointed about.
I get a very seductive.
Which I'm sure you'll recount that story again.
I'll recount that later on.
And yeah, I was basically told that my heart was fucked, and that I would be in hospital for some considerable time.
So when you hear that, like, because you hear all of these terms sort of thrown about, heart failure, severe heart failure, and you've got no real conception of what it is, and you kind of do need it explained. Like, what was the initial reaction and your own?
I don't think I really knew what, or even think what my reaction was. I did a lot of reading after that to find out, because I mean, the consultants are in with each patient for 2-3 minutes, and are then recount all the medication you're going to start getting on. And I actually found ChatGPT to be really helpful to keep a track of my log of what was going on in hospital.
Right.
So I would put in it. I would just punch in like this is the drug that I'm on, what's it for, what's it good at dealing with, and what are the side effects as well. So I've got this drug chart essentially that ChatGPT built for me.
See, this is where me and him differ, right? This is where you can tell the 10-year age gap between us, because that, I'm like, you done what? You trusted that to tell you? But I'm technically just a generation up, but no, I'll get it in the BMG website, you know. But, I'll find it.
I guess that was where I was just lazy, because I just put in, I'm taking bisoprolol, and it was like, oh, this is what it does.
Fair enough.
And that was how I really came to terms with what was happening, because otherwise the doctor, it also helped with what questions I was going to ask the doctor. I ended up being in hospital for 10 days. And that helped every day. When the doctor was doing the rounds, I would have some questions based on what ChatGPT, ChatGPT wasn't telling me what questions to ask, but it was making me curious about, oh, what about that, or what about that?
See, I'm going to, I don't know, just because I see folk in the telly doing this, right? I'm going to do this. I might have done it. But I don't know, should we just assume that everybody knows? I mean, I know folk will be watching this will be folk that know us, so they'll be very up to date and knowledgeable. But ChatGPT is artificial intelligence, and which is about so far as my knowledge goes. But I just want to do that because I see Richard Osman doing that.
Oh, doing little explainers.
And I thought maybe folk don't know what ChatGPT is. So he basically talks to his phone, and his phone talks back to him.
Well, I just do the texty bit. I don't.
Oh, do you not talk to it?
No.
Oh, he just writes to his phone.
I just write
back to him.
I just write into the phone. I've never been able to get the talky bit to work.
It's because you don't understand their accent. Do you know what I mean? It's you just don't understand Scottish accents, so they never pick anything up. Sorry, interrupted you. There.
I don't know where I was.
No, you were in your flow. So you found that helpful to get proper explanations.
Did
you find it reassuring though?
Well, yes, because the term heart failure is pretty scary. That, like, it does sound like when you hear people, like, I don't know about you, but I watch The Resident and Grey's Anatomy and all the really serious medical dramas, American medical dramas, right? So I feel like I could go and like do a surgery because I've watched Grey's Anatomy. Like I have watched people do the whifflet or whatever it's called. No, whifflet's a dance.
There's the whifflet. There's a whifflet on a train line. Is that no?
There's a station on whifflet. Well, the whipple.
Right.
The whipple. I can't actually tell you what the whipple is anymore, but I know it's a surgery, and it's quite a common surgery in America, apparently. And like, so
What's the whipple?
Oh,
I will need.
We'll put what the whipple is up on Instagram.
Do the whipple. do the whipple.
The whifflet whip is a dance.
The whifflet whip.
Yeah. So I've
it sounds like somebody had to turn up at 4 in the morning off a grinder, if I'm honest. I'll go to the whifflet whip. £45 a taxi, you slapped about by an old man.
You're just talking from experience. That's all.
The whifflet whip was just, but
so I felt like I knew things, not so much about heart failure, but like when anyone gets delivered the news that they've got liver failure, it's pretty damn serious.
Right.
And the options are liver transplant or death.
Fair enough.
And that was kind of where I was at in hospital.
See, that's how I don't watch it. My dear mother Ethel, love her to bits, but like my mother, she likes watching like the kind of heavy duty.
My mum loves them as well.
And she's always the one that used to drive me up the wall. You're too young to remember this. Was it Jimmy's, and it was St James's Hospital in Newcastle, I think it was. and that came on. I don't know why they would put this show on at tea time, right, in the 80s. And I'm sure it was a children's hospital. And you're sitting,
so sad.
you were sitting to your potato waffles and corned beef, right? Because it was the 80s. It was the end of the month. I was going to say it was the end of the month. It was Thatcher's Britain. It was always the end of the month, right? I would always say, no, we're not going to make this podcast political, but
it's always going to be a little bit political with us too.
Oh well. And so you were sitting to your potato waffles and corned beef, and then there would be some 6-year-old getting hacked, and taking their giblets out and like, oh, I've managed to save it. And it was the 80s. Medicine wasn't that far advanced at that point, and they would just go, well, that's that out. And they'd stitch it up and go, see if it's still breathing. On you go, and like that. Oh, another success for St. Jimmy's. Hey, sorry, I'm not hungry. It's fine.
I'll start.
Just a bit. No, Ethel loved all that, and then all the American dramas like St. Elsewhere.
No, I've never heard of that.
St. Elsewhere. Ed Begley Jr. No. He was a big heartthrob, big, tall, blonde, Aryan-looking fella with glasses. He was a heartthrob.
I love it. I love it.
I think St. Elsewhere was in Chicago, I think, because it was I think the thing about that was it was like a charitable hospital, wasn't it? Private, so they were dealing with all the bums and drunks and all the rest of it. So it was like proper gritty.
The Resident's probably a more modern take on that now, where the resident gets the resident follows a doctor who is a resident doctor to start with, in a hospital that then gets defunded by the private investors and becomes a public hospital.
Right.
And it's great. Oh, that's great.
I see. I like the politics. That's right.
And it becomes a public hospital from this big campaign from all the doctors.
Oh, that's cool.
But it is over 8 series, so that's not necessarily the narrative, the main narrative, but it's one of the subplots.
One of the subplots.
Yeah, I love The Resident and Grey's Anatomy as well. Grey's Anatomy becomes a private hospital through just like donations. It's mad.
And my mum's watched. She's done the whole lot.
Me and my mum send each other recommendations on what to watch. And maybe Ethan needs to join that group chat so we can all share recommendations.
Group chat. Because he's like blood and guts and gore and all the rest of it.
This podcast is going to have lots of sidebars like that.
If you're looking for like heart health news, do you know what I mean?
Welcome to the news at 10.
Urgently, just going to go into the NHS website. Don't wait for us to happen to bring it up.
Could you imagine if anyone was actually waiting?
Don't wait. Just go onto the NHS website and go like that. Fucked heart, right? And then there is
there's quite a lot of information, and there's charities that have lots of information as well. Which I found out, heart failure charity called Pumping Marvellous.
Pumping Marvellous.
Shout out to them.
What is it they do?
They just provide advice and support.
I like good pump. They must get some terrible phone calls. Right.
But do you think
waiting for a marvellous bump head?
Do you think pumping is pumping's a Scottish word really for shagging or farting? Which I find really bizarre.
Oh, see that's an Americanism. What? I think pumping
for shagging.
For farting. For farting.
Do you think?
I think so. Did you pump? I think that's an Americanism.
Oh, in Fife, that's a big thing. In Fife, pumping.
That's a big thing. He's a Fifer. I'm born and bred to Ouija. Just to
let everyone know. East West coming together.
I know, we're a very diverse podcast.
It's the most diverse bit but so heart failure, the words sound serious. And so I was a bit taken aback by it. I was so taken aback that initially I didn't tell my mum, as you know.
I know.
I also banned my mum from coming to the hospital
the
first day.
You did?
I I always get emotional when I'm in hospital with my mum, because it's happened a few times.
Okay.
I ended up in a hospital with Bell's palsy because I thought I was having a stroke in Turkey, mind.
I forgot that. You need to tell that story.
No?
Aye.
Right. We'll get on to how I felt about the heart
I
failure.
feel yeah, aye.
But so I was on holiday in Turkey. It was my first family holiday in like 20 years. And we'd been down at the beach bar drinking lemon daiquiris. And at the time, I started to feel like the lemon was awfully bitter and I was struggling to suck through a straw. And I've never had a problem sucking before. But I didn't think anything of it because I thought it was just a lemon daiquiri being awfully tart.
A bit tart. My lemon daiquiri's a bit tart.
So went back to the hotel, went for a nap, and when I got up, I looked at myself in the mirror, like just naturally, I was like thinking, do I need to do my hair again or whatnot, and realised that my mouth was a bit droopy. And when I was like blowing, that's because I just started blowing at myself in the mirror. I couldn't blow properly.
Because every night before I do it, I'm at the mirror.
But I don't know what took me to that. But
I know, but if your lips,
I looked a bit odd. So there's a video of me. Like I took a video of this and sent it to a few of my friends' group chats, and I was like, "Oh, do you think this might be Bell's palsy?" Because a drag queen that I knew, Myra Dubois.
Oh, aye, very funny.
Had had Bell's palsy like a couple of months before.
Right.
So it was in my head like what Bell's palsy was, and I was just like, "Oh, it'll just be Bell's palsy."
That's quite serious, though.
Not really.
Serious enough. Listen, I've watched wrestling for 100 years. Poor Jim Ross has had more bouts of Bell's palsy, and the man is basically like can only sort of say about 2 words now.
Aye, I guess if it's recurrent, but there's 2 different types of Bell's palsy. Right. There's, I think anyway, we're not medical professionals. I think depends on how it's triggered, but Bell's palsy is something to do with a triggering of the optical nerve. And there's 7 different optical nerves that all make up the nervous system in your head. And so I go to dinner thinking there's no issues. I've got a bit of Bell's palsy. Go around the dinner table, and everyone at the dinner table agrees that I've just got a bit of Bell's palsy.
Just a wee bit of Bell's palsy.
My mum's like,
it's
just Bell's palsy, you'll be fine. And I'm sitting at dinner getting messages from people being like, "Are you having a stroke?" And there was quite a few of these messages in group chats like, "Are you having a stroke? Are you all right?" And I don't know if it was just because of these messages, but I started to feel like sore in my arms, and then I started slurring my speech. So then,
whilst ordering more strawberry daiquiris.
Not at this point. I did have a beer though, and so then I was like, right, I'm going to go to the hospital doctor, because on these all-inclusive resorts, there's always a hospital doctor.
Yeah.
So went to the hospital doctor, and literally was driven in his car to his clinic at the bottom of the hill.
Because he was that concerned.
Because he was that concerned. I get into this clinic and there's like 7 Turkish doctors surrounding me. In one arm, I'm getting pumped with antihistamines because there was like news stories about like the vodka being like people being allergic to the vodka, or whatever. So they're thinking in case of that. I'm getting checked if I've got diabetes, so all my fingers are being punctured, and I'm getting blood taken out the other arm. And within about 15 minutes, I was in an ambulance to a hospital.
Blood. And what did they say?
Well, I was within 90 seconds of being in that hospital, I had a head CT scan.
Right.
And then, I didn't have a stroke. But I didn't ever find out what the diagnosis was until I got the discharge papers.
And the discharge papers
said it was no. I don't even think they said it was Bell's palsy. They just said I had high blood pressure, which is the first time I found out I had high blood pressure. but I was still walking about with a paralysed
like that.
face. But I was kept in overnight.
Brought on by the strawberry daiquiris.
Aye, I'm getting there. It turns out that Bell's palsy, I kept getting asked these questions if I'd been on a motorbike.
Right.
Because one of the things with Bell's palsy is an instant change in temperature, which can shock the optical nerve.
All right, so if you're on a motorbike,
if you're on a motorbike, you might have got like the wind give. So yeah, my lemon daiquiri gave me brain freeze to the point that it freezed half my face.
So the moral of that story is, if you're on your holidays,
watch out on the lemon daiquiris when you're on the beach.
Maybe don't have 12 in a row. You know, and the series heat. You know, wait. Can I heat up a wee bit? Wait for it to melt a wee bit, and then
it's
you know.
It's not the funniest bit of the story of the Turkish hospital, though, because they kept me in overnight, and they didn't have Wi-Fi. I was a bit bored. It got to the next day. This was a Saturday in May, and I asked my insurance company if I could discharge myself as long as it wasn't against medical advice, and they agreed because they didn't want to pay the extra money. So I'd had a neurologist, a cardiologist, and an ear, nose, and throat consultant all say, you can go home with some pills.
On you go.
The nurse, however, didn't want me to go because my blood pressure was a wee bit high.
See?
So I discharged myself because
good enough.
I did. Well, the three doctors told me I could go.
See, look that.
I discharged myself because I didn't want to miss Eurovision.
It's just. Which for most other folk would send them into the hospital. Do you know what I mean? Listen to that.
So I got home. I got home for a bit of Eurovision. Well, back to the hotel for a bit of Eurovision, and a couple of beers.
Bloody hell, Jesus! But that should do when you banned your poor mother at the hospital with your heart failure.
I know, but I didn't like it, and I think part of it was.
I've just lied to your face.
I know you did.
I said, I don't tell my mother. I don't want her to know where I'm at.
No, I did. Told her by the time you'd come and seen me. I told her that I was in
hospital. You
told her
you were in the hospital. You never told her what hospital, where.
I refused to tell her what hospital so that she didn't just turn up. But
poor woman up to high door.
One of the reasons why, because her brain works like mine a wee bit, is that existential dread of not when you don't actually know something properly. And I was waiting till some things had been confirmed before bringing her in.
The woman gave birth to you. She's a right to know. So I was just on the phone. that was that.
And she was up the next day.
That's fine. She came to a nice agreement.
Agreed.
That was an agreed
You
time.
can visit tomorrow. And she came up a couple more times, and actually loads of people came up to hospital. You were very helpful going and getting me some clean clothes. Rifling through my drawers.
Rifling through your knickers. Well, that was actually. I mean, I can't drive. I'm barely mobile. I'm barely staying
so really,
at the moment.
It's Ethel that we need to thank.
I was very, very generous with offering how much my mother would do as far as driving is run about. Plus, I was at my Tanya's this summer as well. I had a wee antidepressant stroke sedative issue, which I wasn't expecting, and I kind of missed the summer. Just sat in the house, my pants, counting the ridges and the anaglypta until I seen another health professional about something else. We'll get into that later.
And it was literally, I think, the first time I'd seen you in months. Because I was in hospital.
Because you were in hospital, and I'm like, I better deal with things. So then just like, I'll come up with stuff. But then
doing a two and
I just had to phone my mother and go, we need to go and get things for Nathan. I say that. I'm going to clear this up.
We've not done that
bit. And we should explain, I know we're 40 odd minutes in, I will probably more often than not call Nathan Nancy, right? Simply because that's what she always was. She's not.
I've no transition.
Nathan has not transitioned. Nathan was Nancy. Well, she was Dame Nancy Clench, a drag queen. And she renounced the title
when Brian Shooter got his knighthood.
When Brian Shooter got his knighthood, that's right.
Because the Queen was going to listen to me.
So you've been Nancy. You've always been Nancy to me. So
I've known you for 15, 16 years and been a drag queen for that length of time.
So it's very different. I'm now 50-50. I see Nathan sometimes and Nancy others, and because you're not technically, you're not transitioning, so it kind of doesn't. It's just not I'm dead naming Nancy or anything like that.
No,
and Nancy still.
She still pops up once a year.
Much like Nathan, Nancy still got a pulse in her. Do you know what I mean?
And she might come back with a new show in March.
So if I've been saying Nancy throughout, and you don't know, and will do, it is just Nathan Nancy.
And we do regularly refer to each other as she and her, which isn't an offensive mispronounce.
It's just an old Glasgow gay thing, really.
It's a little bit of Polari type.
Yes.
Type language.
There'll often be a hen or two.
Oh.
Aye.
Oh, hey hen.
Oh, hi hen. So just I know. Look at that. There's been straight men listening to this for 45 minutes now. Oh, look at that. There's a pair of poofs duped us or something because we were so butch from the start. Anyway.
I wonder, you need to, if you're listening, if you've got this far through the podcast, you need to let us know who's listening so we can get the demographics of where you're listening from, who you are. I'm imagining there's going to be a lot of women.
But
we'll need to get a couple of footballers on.
A couple of stud muffins like you and I. Of course the women will be flocking, do you know? This is it's like Cliff Richard and Daniel O'Donnell, a meeting of
who's I don't know if I want
the housewife's favourites. Do you know what I mean? But right, so your heart failure. No. You never had your mother up. Well, you did.
I did.
Eventually.
She came up.
She came up with it. But you were being an arse about it. But you were in a while.
She's going to be sat there like, he was an arse about it. She got up.
She got up as if it was like a privilege. Do you know what I mean?
There was a lot of people that got invited up. There was a few people that didn't tell what ward I was on, so they didn't come up.
See, that's the thing. Because I was in the hospital during COVID, so I couldn't have any visitors, which was a kind of a bit of a blessing and a curse, because you're a bit of a sitting duck. No. So when in the hospital, folk know that's where you are.
There was a couple of times where people did just show up and I wasn't expecting them, and I was ready for my bed.
Well, that's always. But the thing is, and I always find, and this is terrible, like it's if you end up in research, you're not often. You can't choose who gives to you. There's often for you like that. Anyway, so
my ward was open visiting times. I could have had a visitor any hour.
Well, if I done that, went up. Struggling for a sleep. I'll take a wee trip up the Royal. Just like, no, well, you want to visit?
You want to visit?
You want to visit?
There was a couple of funny stories on the ward where there was a guy in the direct booth sort of next to me that bless his heart.
Yes, that's all that.
He was sat with his Bluetooth headphones on and his iPad, watching a thriller series, shooting and everything. But the headphones weren't connected to the iPad. So
just
the whole ward could hear, and he's sat turning the iPad up because he can't hear because he's got noise cancelling headphones on. And thankfully one of the guys, because I wasn't doing it, but one of the other guys went and sorted him.
So how long were you in then?
10 days. I was in 10 days because one of the things that they wanted to do was get an MRI of my heart.
Right.
And as much as we were talking about the NHS being all right, there's some bits of it that are still fucked. It turned out that I could have been waiting 21 days just for an inpatient MRI. So basically it got to the point where I was they started me on a different medication sort of every couple of days.
To build everything up.
Aye, and wanted to make sure that all the bloods were doing what they should have done. So when it got to the point where I was on all the medication that they wanted me to be on, I was like, right, can I go?
Go. Aye.
And the doctors were really keen to keep me in to get that MRI, but it got to the point where my lovely dad was offering to pay for a private MRI scan to just get me out.
Aye.
Because I don't know about you when you were in hospital, and certainly know the first time you weren't in that long, but when you get stuck in from a Friday night, there's no moving you to the Monday.
I know.
And I'd done one weekend, I couldn't do another.
Oh, well, the second time I was in, I'll explain why I was in the second time, but it was essentially bugger all round with me, right? But I was in longer the second time. I'd fainted, essentially. That was what happened to me. But I'd fainted the second time rather than having a cardiac arrest. But they didn't know that. So, and this was only a few weeks after. And that second time, and I was in the Royal, whereby the first time I was in the Jubilee, the Gold Jubilee, which was superb. That was lovely. But the second time I was in, I think I was in about a fortnight, just shy of a fortnight. And I think, and it was absolutely, it was murder. So it was, particularly when you know there's nothing wrong. Once they've established that there's nothing wrong with you, but they still want to do all the checks.
Aye.
So and like that, it was. And I get discharged on a Friday.
Oh, lucky.
Because it was my sister's birthday.
I was discharged on a Friday as well.
And it was like, there was no way. And we were having a birthday dinner from my sister just down the road, just in Ingram Street. But the thing was, because they were trying to get me, it was an MRI, but they wanted to get your heart as still as possible.
Oh, aye.
So they filled me. I was out my booby doos, quite frankly. I think it was with bisoprolol,
which is one of the ones that I'm on.
So you're like, it was like having a big joint, just because it's stone. It slows your blood pressure.
The purpose of bisoprolol is to slow your heart rate down. Now, mine currently just still sits at around 80.
Right.
And for an MRI, they want it at like 60.
60, yeah.
And I had to basically double dump the bisoprolol for a week to get it down to where they wanted it to. Yeah, so I know how you feel.
Wild. But I mean, it was because I eventually, and I'm like, I need out today because I'm going to go mad. So they really rushed it, and it was like 46 the Friday night, and I eventually got everybody to sign me off. My mother picked us up, took us to my sister's dinner. The poor folk in the restaurant, because the thing was, because I'd been in for 10 days, I was covered in blood, and I was covered in bruises and all that. My arm like that. They found him in the street and brought him in for a meal.
How was your discharge though? Like, did you feel like you got all the information you needed?
I can't remember.
I got handed a bag of pills and told, "See you later."
See you later. I can't remember because there was such a kind of carry on to get me out of the place. Because I was like, I need to leave. Because because it was COVID times, there was no visitors at all, so I was really going stuck crazy.
I got to the Friday, and thankfully the consultant was like, "Look, we actually don't think," and this was the senior consultant, so I'd only seen one senior consultant prior to that, about a week before. So all the consultants that were coming to see me were just going by what the senior consultant is in. So the second senior consultant comes and says, "Look, we don't think an MRI is going to tell us anything that we don't already know."
Fine.
In terms of your immediate care. So, and actually, the risk, the problem was going to be that the MRI could potentially take up to 6 months. I ended up getting one within 8 weeks. So I've had my MRI now.
What did they say?
I've not had the results yet.
Right.
So that's the other benefit of this podcast is every month when I've been to the heart failure clinic, I'll get to check in with everyone.
Hey, right.
So next week I'll have been to the heart failure clinic. So providing they've submitted the results,
you'll know what's going on.
I'll know what's going on. But the consultant was like, "Look, it might actually also be better for you to have had a couple of months of the medication because we'll see if there's been any change in your heart." So there could be some positive news. We don't know. Because there's some doubt about what the cause of my heart failure
Okay.
is. I wouldn't say there should be any doubt.
What do you? Well, how best to put this? If you're a betting man,
Yes.
what would you be laying your hard earned on? As far as what do you think are the reasons, and what are the other possible reasons?
So I would bet my life savings on it being alcohol and recreational medicine, as the doctor put it.
Recreational medicine. There we go.
Yes, that would be where I would put the button.
Nancy's magic powder. Anyway,
and like I and was always upfront with the doctors, like genuinely honest about how much alcohol I was drinking, to the point that it scared me when I actually said the number, because you were looking at nearly 120 to 150 units, and the government's recommendation is 14 a week. So
and that's it. I mean,
and we've talked about this before.
I mean, who in the right mind
is having a glass of wine 3 nights a week?
Well, and that's it.
That's about it.
That's it.
And there's some people that do, like, I mean, probably not really many people that are listening to this podcast.
No, but serious. I mean, there's some folk. I mean, like various friends I can think of that I do 3 glasses of wine a week. It's kind of lucky if you get limit them to 3 bottles of fucking wine a week. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that. I mean, my drinking pre-COVID was quite spectacular. Yeah. So because it was the only vice I had. Well, it was one of the few vices. I'd given up many other vices. And it's funny how because I was kind of doing less of, I thought I was doing well, and then I had the heart attack, and you pointed out latterly before the heart attack, at the end of the night, for the last couple of hours of the night,
you double fist.
I would have a pint, a double Maker's Mark and Coke, and a shot of Sambuca, and that was for the last couple of hours. That was how I drank for the course of the.
And because when I put, obviously in my younger days, I drank more often, like more days. But for the last sort of 5 years or so, it was maybe 2 or 3 nights a week, maybe a 4th. I mean, that's still more than half of the week. But it was like 5 or 6 pints, and then up to a bottle of vodka a night.
I know. And then you go in to see a GP,
and
just the one or two, just the one or two.
And I've always tried to be more honest, but I've never been that honest with a doctor.
No, I mean, I had been, because I mean, again, I keep on hinting at these thousands of other things, but there is thousands of other things. I mean, way back, like kind of mid to late 20s, I had no real concern about the amount I was drinking. And I thought, I was always adamant, and I still am adamant, I was never ever an alcoholic. I abused alcohol, but I was never an alcoholic. And you would tell them what you were drinking the night, and they actually just thought you were. I don't know whether they thought you were trying to be macho or something, that you were boasting. And even then, I wasn't sure I was being 100% accurate. I mean, that was 7 nights a week. I could easily have been drinking 15 to 20 pints a long way.
You were a pint guzzler.
I was a pint guzzler, but then I was in a group of friends, and the reason I'm going, because if you were buying around, there was a group of 3-4 of us, so we certainly all bought more than fucking one round.
Oh,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that gets you up. If you've only bought 3 rounds each, that's ridiculous amounts of alcohol already.
Pints straight away.
Yeah.
And
I don't even think, and I think that would be
But you see people, like we saw people in the pub yesterday that had clearly been there all day. Like they were leaving at 10:30 and they'd clearly been there since like the pub opened.
And that's and I've done it.
We've
done
all
it
done
so
it.
many times myself, and it's just
it happens so regularly that this is where the 14 units thing always.
I don't understand.
There's
what
an element
its purpose is.
If it was more realistic, maybe more people would treat it with the respect desired.
But 14, that's it. 14 seems so unobtainable or unreachable.
Yeah.
You know, you are essentially kind of going, well, I might as well not have anything.
Aye.
So that forces you to make that choice. If it was somewhere in the middle, but then, and I know we're going to, because we will speak to people that are kind of experts on this. You know, that at the end of the day, all alcohol is bad for you, you know, or any alcohol is bad for you. I mean,
and that was what then I was told in hospital.
So by the consultant. That was essentially what you were told.
So one there's a thing in one of the toxins in alcohol directly targets your heart, and that's what can cause heart failure. Because they don't quite know yet if that is the case, what's happened to me. Although I would say there was probably what Donald Trump said, a 1,400% chance. That's I was told if I completely cut out alcohol, then it's the one thing that your heart can recover from, because the toxin is no longer present in your body.
Right.
So that's why now I've been completely sober since I was in hospital.
Right, so that's
there'll be 13 weeks this week.
Nah, on yourself.
And because, you know, when you can clearly see where you've perhaps put your body through a lot, it was a really easy decision for me to
just go
right. I didn't need it.
So I'm just going to stop. Just
stop. But it was because of the way it was put to me as well. He said to me, if I was a smoker and a drinker, he would rather I stop drinking than stop smoking.
There you go.
And that's what you've been having on since you heard that.
There is official news. Better to smoke up, brothers and sisters. Smoke up.
And that's where, because everyone's
obviously not that is not an ideal choice, and also not. But yeah, there's.
People think that smoking is the worst bit, but with the way that I was presented the information anyway was that it was the alcohol. It was directly targeting my heart, because the smoking targets your veins and your arteries a bit more than your heart.
I suppose it's a kind of it's a slower approach as opposed to.
Whereas
that's a bit more of a direct hit.
It's actually my heart that's not pumping properly, which led to me having around 12 litres of additional fluid in my body.
But that's wild.
In my lungs and in my ankles and the extremities. That when I was in hospital, I had to be injected every morning with a drug that literally flushed it out of me, and I pissed like a racehorse for 10 days. And I still do, because I have to upkeep tablets.
Is that water tablets then?
Aye, pretty much. Diuretics.
Diuretics. Right. So that's. But I mean, so those are big lifestyle changes.
Yeah.
Already, just the no drinking, particularly the job that you do. You know that you do. It was.
Working in owning bars.
Hospitality industry. You're looking after pubs and nightclubs, and restaurants. So it's there all the time.
And that's the thing. It was after work. It was easy to have 4 pints. You'd start at 3:00 because you could have a pint with your last meeting. And then since I was in hospital, I've been getting sent samples of 0% beers, which have been great. And maybe one of them will come and sponsor the podcast.
Yes, so I've yet actually we might do that actually, because
do a sampling,
because I've been a really bad friend so far, because I can still have a drink. I barely drink now. It's very rare to have a drink. Maybe once a month, a couple of times a month, if that. But I've been a bit of a bad friend, and I've not been drinking 0% lagers.
Nobody else has to be miserable because I'm not drinking.
But do you know what? But oddly,
they're all I would say is they're really good now.
Right.
They're a lot better than they used to be, and there's such a choice. I mean, I was in the variety bar when I went to see Steps. I was going to see Steps the musical,
and it cancelled.
It got cancelled on the night because apparently they hadn't performed on a rake stage before, and the Kings has a rake stage, which I didn't actually know about the Kings.
Yeah,
because I've been on that stage and I didn't notice it.
I know it runs. It runs down the way. So I think if I'm not mistaken, I don't know about the Theatre Royal, but I think the Pavilion, the Citizens, and the Kings are all rake stages because it's an old-fashioned thing. They don't really do it anymore. But now whether the Citizens definitely was a race stage.
Oh, it might not be now.
Whether it has retained its rake stage after its refurb, the Citizens Theatre in Glasgow. I should point out, I don't know where people might be listening to this from, but we're presently...
we're sat in my flat.
Sat in his flat in Glasgow city centre. We'll try not to make it too sort of Glasgow-focused or Scottish-centric, but because it would be nice to hear from folk from all over.
It'd be nice. It'd be nice to get out and about as well at some point.
I know. Somebody wants to send us the heart healthy holiday.
We could turn up to your dining table and record the podcast.
To Thailand, where we're served by.
Oh, that would be nice.
That would be nice. Just a wee breakfast. No. But no, we've got no ideas about what this is going to be. We've got no kind of delusions of grandeur. It's something to keep us occupied whilst we sort of cut down and we're drinking and trying to look afterwards.
That's what I was talking about. See the 0%.
Yes,
because Steps here and now cancelled.
Yes, sorry. Steps get cancelled.
I was in the variety bar, and my question to all the bartenders now is, what 0% have you got?
Yes.
It's the first time I've heard, we've got loads. And I was presented with a list.
Ooh.
And this was a mango IPA, 0%.
Well, I'm supposed to have to, or they don't live up to the name of the pub. A variety bar. We've got a variety. Drinks and oven.
A difference to the pubs we were in last night where there was Beck's, Corona and Guinness were the options.
I think, in Glasgow, you're lucky you get that, to be fair.
But the mango IPA was nice. I really like Beavertown's Laser Quest. They actually sent me a box of Laser Quest to my mum and dad's house that arrived for me getting out of hospital because it was my dad's birthday the day after I got out of hospital. Similar to you, your sister's birthday. So that was what I drank from my dad's birthday. Theirs is a good one. Days is a specific 0% brand.
Mm-hmm.
And also there is some 0% spirits that I've been toying with. We'll have a conversation about them, but see 0% gin, I didn't get it because that's just flavoured water. I will.
We'll get into this has
been a ramble.
It's been a ramble, but we could get into this because we talk. There's so many things to discover in our new lives as heart fucked people,
trying to get healthier,
and try to sort of navigate your thing. And all the best bit of advice I got was fuck the vegans, right? Because a lot of people think after you've had some heart problem, I'll just go and be vegan. I'll eat vegan food.
Do you remember that's what we did?
Well, that was it. But you've got to be careful what you're doing. And as the nurse said to me, vegans are only interested in saving animals. They're not interested in saving you, right? So they're interested in saving animals. And I'm not being anti-vegan, but it's apparently a lot of the stuff they make is a lot of saturated fats and whatnot. And because it's full of fake flavourings in foods and things like that.
One of the issues is when they use a lot of seed oils.
Yes.
Because they're not good for you. Olive oil is the best one. Right. But sometimes... Because remember we went... One of the first meals we had after your heart attack was in a vegan restaurant?
Yes, but we went to a vegan restaurant. I think it's the proper quality, but it's the processed...
Aye, I know
Vegan
exactly
stuff
what
every ran out and put, just buy Hunter's Alana McCartney. And then you're dead 3 weeks later because you're full of saturated fats and salts and things like that.
Well, that's the one. Do you know how hard it is? This was one of the mistakes that ChatGPT made for me getting out of hospital was they said I should have a diet that had under 2 grams of salt in it a day.
That must be impossible.
Well, Weetabix.
Right.
Each Weetabix.
Doesn't strike me as a salty treat.
Each Weetabix, each block of Weetabix has 0.49 grams of salt in it.
Right.
So if I had 2 of them in the morning, that's me 1 gram of salt already.
That's no.
So it then later transpired that no, it's not quite that serious of a low sodium diet. 6 grams is the
normal.
cutoff. But basically, what my nurse says is, didn't add salt to your food after you've made it. Cook your food.
All it is just bloody truth. That because that was just what you done when you were wee.
Aye.
You
Throw
just put
salt in everything.
put salt and vinegar in everything.
Right.
So you never tasted anything because that's just what you done when you were wee. Aye.
Well,
so I've got all that to be.
There's loads to get on with. This is a bumper episode. I think the first couple are going to be this length because we've got.
I don't know. Well, we acted on it.
We've got a couple of questions,
right?
Because what we'll try and do at the end of each podcast is give you the chance to come back to us with any questions about what you've heard previously, or what you'd like to hear. Maybe it's suggestions, things you'd like us to answer that we've piqued your interest. I went out on all our socials, which you'll be able to get the links to all the socials in the episode description. Asked for some questions. I got 3.
Right.
So I'm
3? That's
quite
quite
pleased
good.
with that.
That's not bad.
The first one
3.
from my old neighbour in Edinburgh.
Right.
Was asking why it's taken us so long. And
it's not taking us,
and it has taken us 4 years, but also it's not really because really this idea of us doing this together as a co-hosted podcast has really only come about since Friday night, and we're on Monday. So I'm sorry, Nicky. This is going to go out on Tuesday.
Is that going to be? Is that going to be one day?
I like a Tuesday podcast because a Monday. I think Monday's quite stressful for people. Listening to things on the way to work on a Monday's, you're a bit down. Tuesday, I think, is a good day.
Right.
Let us know what you think, though, if Tuesday's not a good day.
I'm just trying to think, because and do you want it first thing for you going to your work?
Well, my plan would be to just get them published
on a Tuesday at some point.
In the middle of the night, because sometimes the different podcast streaming services upload them at different times.
Right.
So to make sure that everyone gets it for the morning, it'll go in up through the night.
Right.
And then it's there for whatever time in the morning folk listen to it.
Fair dues.
I think that's...
I like how that's us just sorting out what admin issues. It's no way.
I've produced podcasts for a while. The only reason we're not in my studio is because it's up 3 flights of stairs and both our feet are not good.
Well, we're sending 2 folk with heart issues up 3 flights of stairs. Aye. And it's not just 3 flights of stairs, it's an old tenement.
Oh my God, building, it's so high.
And it's 3 steps, I don't know.
So that's why we've moved the studio to my house. I can still produce other podcasts if you're looking for one to be done.
Who's the next question?
I've got a question from Ethel and a question from Jenny.
For bugger off.
Both are mums.
Both are mothers.
Submitted questions separately. But would you be pleased to know that they're the exact same bloody question?
I see, that's too scary. They seriously didn't even know they were talking to one another.
I mean, I don't think our mums have ever spoken to each other.
I thought you've ever met.
We'll need to change that.
No. So they've submitted the same question?
The same question.
What was they asked? What
lifestyle changes have you made since your heart issues?
I said, bloody no. I'm still, I'm back on the cigarettes again. Been on and off them.
I think that's why your mum asked, to be honest, to put you in a position.
What lifestyle changes? I'm not drinking as much. You're not drinking at all.
I'm not drinking at all. I'm not doing anything. I'm only taking drugs that are prescribed to me. I'm also not even taking more paracetamol than I should, because I used to do that.
And just in case you get the autism, like,
Oh God, I know. Oh, did he? No,
sorry.
look, we're an hour and 15 minutes in.
I know.
I'm not going down.
let's still go down the Trump rabbit hole.
Oh my God.
I know we should really have tried to avoid even bringing the arsehole's name up. That's not autism tablet. I mean, just
my word.
despite the fact that Tylenol, paracetamol wasn't out until 1955, but autism has been noticed in 1911. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So no, I look at that. Pair of
But it wasn't it odd that they both had the
what
same
lifetime.
question?
You know, obviously, do you know what that says? The two of them don't think we're doing enough. That's exactly that.
I can sit on a little bit of a high horse because I've
You
been
can.
sober for 13 weeks.
You've been sober for 13 weeks. You've done really well.
And I did also buy a bike.
I have been sober for 13 weeks.
At some point.
It's just not consecutively. It's just the 4 years of the heart attack.
I did buy a bike and then I went on the bike a bit too often and I did my knee in.
You're done your knee in.
So
See, this is, right.
I've been on crutches and taken tramadol and...
See, this is the things they don't warn you about. Right? They show you the glossy men, right, with their tits and their teeth, right? Oh, look at this. This is my new life after, right? They don't factor in bikes and bad knees.
Oh,
I've fucked my feet. My feet are fucked, right? I know that I ever mentioned it when I'm on stage, but I have fucked my feet, and that was because I was trying to do lots of walking, and it buggered it. So they don't tell you how to deal with that. And that's how you end up, here we are, 4 years post-heart attack, because that was 6th of September 2021. And here we are 4 years later, and I'm 8 stone heavier, or whatever it is, than what I was when I had the heart attack. I'm in a worse position than what I am. Anyway, we'll get into that.
We'll get into all of that. It's I think that's been a good first episode.
That's been all right. That's been my first episode of, what was it, Matters of the Heart and Other Failures. Hopefully... we've touched your heart, and this hasn't been a failure. I needed a partridge. I needed a partridge out. Yeah.
That's going to have to be the line at the end of every podcast now. If you're listening and you've got this far through, please make sure you rate the podcast wherever you're listening. You can give us 5 stars on Spotify and Apple, and I'm sure all the other ones you can do similar. You've got a Google phone. You've probably got Google Podcasts. You can go on and rate us on that.
Right.
I've already given us 5 stars on Apple.
And all your socials that they've got is tagged in. If you could share it amongst your own folks.
Word of mouth is the best way to get people knowing about a new podcast. We're not doing this with any big barrels of money. We've not got big sponsors. So you sharing it. Also, we want to build a bit of a community that want to.
We've got ideas and things it'd be nice to do. I say we've got no big plans of being sort of superstars or gurus or fucking, but we've got a couple of nice wee ideas that would be nice to do if we could sort of get stuff off the ground kind of locally. For folk in a similar position, folk with heart issues. If you've got weird and wonderful heart stories to tell us yourself, feel free to, I don't know how, I was going to say email. Sorry, this is how old-fashioned I am.
We'll have an email address. I meant to actually set the email address up before. In case I can't get the email address I want, I'm not going to say it on
Fair
this.
enough.
But it will be in the description of the podcast, so you can get the email address. You can message us. We've got an Instagram account and a TikTok account. We'll have a Facebook page for the oldies. And
cheeky bitch, that's my main source of social media. Facebook.
It's a cesspit of shite.
I'll tell you, better than bloody X.
Oh, but we're not getting one of them.
Well, no, we're not doing any
X.
We're not on X.
So if you're on Instagram, TikTok or Facebook, you'll be able to message us on there. Some of you listening at this early stage will already know one of us, so you can message us on there. Get in touch, share, like, shout about the podcast. We'd love to hear what you thought about episode 1, and we'll be back next week with more Masters of the Heart.
Aye.
And
I'll be explaining my shite next week.
Aye.
No, we thought we'd sort of ease you in.
Was that a season fucking?
Easy in a wee bit of heart failure.
Matters of the Heart and Other Failures back next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye.